Greetings, friends. You may be wondering why I'm wearing these glasses. You may be thinking, well, maybe I feel like I want to be cool or trying to be cool. Well, I've uh, I've long given up trying to be cool. Actually, I got this ugly infection in my eye, and if I took these glasses off, you would all run away screaming. So that's what I'm wearing these for. I said mass this morning in them, and the guys thought that I had watched Top Gun the night before. But that's not the case at all. So hopefully by Sunday, these glasses will be off. Now, let's see here. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, I know. Really important gospel reading this week. Well, they're always important, right? But to really get to it, we have to sort of have a little bit of a rundown of the book of Matthew. You know that it's written to Jewish audience, and we have the first 7 chapters where Jesus walks the same pilgrimage or the path as the ancient Israelites, but he succeeded where they failed in the desert, right? And it culminates in what's called the Sermon on the Mount. You have Jesus on the Mount, just like God on the Mount, who opens his mouth. Jesus opens his mouth, speaking to the crowd, calling his disciples to him. And Jesus' disciples function like Moses and God talking to Moses. So that's the Sermon on the Mount. And the whole thing of the Sermon on the Mount introduces us as Jesus as the perfect Israelite, the one that got it right, because he's God, right? He gives a new law, but it's really not a new law so much as a deepening and an enriching and a fulfillment of the old law. Very important to keep that in mind. So that's the first section. There's 5 sections in it, which I think correspond to the 5 books of the Torah. Okay. And the second section is in chapters 8 through 10. And in chapters 8 through 10, Jesus is doing all these miracles to authenticate who the first 7 chapters set him up to be. Only God could be doing what Jesus is doing. And then finally for us, there's 5 sections, but in the third section, our readings bring it to an end, that third section, where Israel, unfortunately, rejected their Messiah. And Jesus, in this section, begins to speak to them in parables. Now, parables do one of 2 things. If you're proud and arrogant, they won't make sense to you. Or they'll just kind of brush them off. But if you're humble, you go, wow, okay. There's a revelation there, right? So Jesus spoke in parables both to bring judgment on the hardened heart, but also to bring revelation to the humble. Okay, so our reading, as I said before, brings this third section to an end. And it ends with 3 parables. The first 2 really inspire. I mean, I always get chills when I read these 2. And that's the parable of the treasure and the field and the pearl of great price. And then the last one is the parable of the fish in the net, where the church is like the net and it captures all sorts of fish and they're separated at the end. Kind of like last week's parable where the wheat and the tares are separated at the end of time and judgment. We talked about that last week. So, now, at the end, Jesus asked him a question. Do you understand these things? And the disciples said, yeah, we understand it. I just love that. you know, because they are the chosen ones, they're the humble ones, and the parables make sense to them, right? And then Jesus says this very profound statement. Therefore, every scribe, in the Greek there's grammatus, we get the word grammar from it, people of letters, men of letters, women of letters, every scholar that is a disciple or being disciple, mathetes, that's the Greek there, is likened to the head of a house who brings out of his house treasures, both old and new. That is really, really exciting to me. And it should be exciting to us, okay? Because that means to be a true disciple is to become a scholar, a student. And the new and old, what does that mean? Well, I like to think of it as the Old Testament and all the treasures that God revealed to Israel over well over 1,000 years. And then the new is the New Testament. And we know that Christ was hidden in the old and revealed in the new. And without the old, you would have no Christ, because he's the fulfillment of something, right? So, my brothers and sisters, let me conclude. Jesus is asking us, St. Joseph, do you understand these things? And if we say yes, that means that we are scholars. God expects us to be students of his word and to bring out to people all around us from our treasure house treasures both old and new. Is that happening? Well, one thing for sure is that we are trying to create here every opportunity for that to happen. We have small groups, right? You can get connected with that. The ACTS thing is so, so important because small groups are developed from the ACTS program. If you haven't gone, go. I went last time, and no one regrets going to this. A lot of people go in saying, what have I gotten myself into? Do I really want to be here? But then once they're there, it's just utterly and completely amazing. Oh, yeah, how can I forget? So we've got the Bible study between the masses, which is growing. It's so encouraging. We're almost finishing up the book of Leviticus, and we are starting the book of Numbers, which is a journey through the desert, which is symbolic of our journey through life. And we just have such a blast in there. And that's talking about treasures. Everybody's around there as if they're finding treasures, both old and new. So, yeah, come. You don't have anything better to do. I know that. Okay. Let's see here. What else is going on here? Again, for women, there's women at the well and all the wonderful things that they're doing. They got a new Marian the devotion coming up in the book month in the fall. There's just so many things, like the men's group at 6 o'clock in the morning with the Beams program. I mean, it's just so much formation going on here that no one has an excuse not to be a grammatus and a mathetes. That's what you're going to become. Okay? God bless. See you on Sunday.